So we're supposed to answer the question you asked? Or
It's not a question, it's just a statement. But how does, what you wrote down is a statement. But the question is, what does that mean to you guys? And why is it relevant? Why is that a relevant question? And then again, it may not be relevant, or a statement. And then again, it may not be relevant to you at all. You may not believe it, you may not think that it has any relevance at all.
I think that, well, if he didn't answer it already, I didn't hear exactly what he was saying. But what I think it means, it's like, if you do, say someone wants you to do something for them, and you don't, that, like, they won't do anything for you either. Like, pretty much, like, if you don't do something for them, they won't do anything for you.
Okay.
Basically, a person who does something out of goodwill opposed to someone who does it to get something
In return.
Yes.
Okay. Who do you guys in the back? Who's your representative on this side?
The green one.
So you got three on this. You have three to the right, and then you have three to the left. So you guys is left and you guys is right. So one of the three, starting with the green shirt, black shirt, and the plaid shirt, has to represent those three. And then I know what that means. And then a representative for these three: gray shirt, blue shirt, and gray sweatshirt. Okay, so
Go, Carlos.
Basically saying, like, if you're friends for someone for what they have, it's not like a real friendship.
Okay.
But like, say if they lost what they had, you would pretty much not care about them anymore.
Okay. What about you guys?
They want. Well, it depends on.
I'm not really sure what. Okay. And then you can switch on and off between. If you wanted to do that.
It's like right in front of us.
It's like camera. This happened before.
Which one?
The last one. You're acting like you just.
Where is the camera?
Right here.
Hey, Carlos doesn't want to go.
Oh wow. They're pointing right at us. Hey, let's see, pointing right at us.
Probably better off. Shut the fuck up. Pissing me off, dude.
Hey, Carlos said he wants to speak for his group.
He doesn't. You leave like last time. You guys want to.
Can I go outside real quick? My mom called me.
Can I do it? Just do it.
Is it
Him. What is this? Are we playing this weekend?
Yeah, Sunday.
Curly.
Both.
If he doesn't touch me,
No, until the next
one.
All right. So what do you guys think in the back?
Well, basically, depending on what, like, it's basically saying you could, like, see how a person is. Like, you can tell about the person's beliefs and his background, and maybe even a little bit about his values and his school.
Okay. Read the statement one more time to me, please. Anybody?
How do I switch them?
You can easily judge the character of a man by the way he treats someone that can't do anything for him.
Okay. What I took from it, you can tell the character of a person, like the true essence of a person, by the way that they treat somebody that can't do anything for you.
The video,
So,
like
let's take a homeless person.
yeah.
Let's take somebody
It's having
who,
his the audio.
who you may see and you feel like, oh, he can't do anything for me.
So the webcam,
So
instead
you
of
just-
the program that it's open.
So you just mistreat them. Okay? This is why I bring this up, and this is why we're talking about this. On Friday, it was either Friday or on Saturday. Once again, talking about Randy Moss. From what I understand, he's a really nice guy. From what I understand, there are people that really know him really well. They say he's a really nice person. However, on either Friday or Saturday, they were being fed and they were being catered. They had some food catered to them. Their team did. The Vikings did. And he stood up. It was quiet. You could hear the drop of hear a pin drop in the room. He stood up and he was like, goes on this rant about what is this food that we're eating. May have used some, profanity or explicative. I'm not sure, but he just went in this, started ranting about the food and said something along the lines of, I wouldn't even feed this, and he might have used a profane word. I wouldn't give this or feed this to my dog. And he started, pointing and doing all that stuff. But the way that he treated someone who was serving food, I think one of the players or something like that had brought in this individual or gentleman I guess he owns a catering company, and he brought the person into the place to feed him, and that was how he conducted himself. Okay, you can tell the character of a person by the way he treats someone who cannot do anything for him. Does that make sense? So you can tell a lot about somebody if they feel as if they can't get anything from them, as opposed to that person that takes the time to really concern themselves about all people and how they treat all people, and not just the people that they think that they can get something from. Does that make sense? All of us deserve, as human beings, all of us deserve a certain amount of respect. No matter what somebody else is going through or what lifestyle they may be living, whether they're an alcoholic, whether they're a drug addict, whether they're homeless, whether they're whatever, whether they're obese, everybody deserves to be respected and treated with respect and kindness. Does that make sense? Okay? And so little things like that, I want that to really become a part of you guys' character and who you are, if it's not already. Some of you may already be there. Okay? So, a ton of stuff to cover, fellas. Before we get into what I want us to cover, was there anything that we talked about on Tuesday that you guys may have talked about, maybe with your family, maybe that could be a sibling, a cousin, a girlfriend, a best friend, as teammates? Did you guys talk about anything, bring anything up
No.
that made you guys just start thinking a little bit more about what we talked about on Tuesday before we move into what we're going to talk about today? No? Thought about it? Talk about it at all? Didn't talk about it at all? That's okay. At least, did anybody else just think about it?
What was the topic? Success. Yeah.
You can't think about it if you weren't here.
What was it? I wasn't here on Tuesday. What was it?
It's okay. It was about success. About success. So it just getting the ball rolling, getting the wheels turning mentally to start thinking about the stuff that we talk about. That's a good thing in and of itself, even if you don't get a chance to talk about it with anybody. So today, decision making, consequences, and how to be good decision makers. Okay? As far as decision making goes,
We made the decision. I just, you can go back home. I thought it was gonna be like 6:30. Whatever, dude.
I'm not.
We just might.
You're savvy, but
Do you have an iPhone?
Did you move the bed?
No.
I'm not.
To my side?
Is it still there?
But.
But, no.
Who moved it back?
Rob moved it.
I just turn on the webcam.
He moved his
Here's
bed.
how my TV
Right
remote.
there.
He doesn't.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's like down, I mean, in the bookshop.
You can see it in the lens.
And dude, I got a bookshelf on my head.
These guys are there. They're just coming in.
Yeah,
Just 3.
I know. Well, these past 2 days it's only been me and Rob. You ask him, he's like, I'll guys are gonna have fun with it. I'll sleep over. He did pretty so bad.
You wanna get your brother and maybe with us? That's
I already moved out.
Hey, lumberjack.
Me and Brian.
Lumberjack. Lumberjack.
All right, who's your teammate? All right, one of them.
Timber.
So decision making consequences. Do you guys really believe in this statement? You reap what you sow?
You what?
You reap what you sow?
In a sense,
I don't even know what that means.
I don't know what reaping means.
there are times when I'll look at someone and I'll judge them and then like, I'll think that they have like certain things and then when they don't, like I'll probably, like usually I'll still end up being their friend.
Okay.
Like I'm not saying like money wise or anything like that, but like, I know that there's.
You know that there's something to be gained?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like making, not like, those type of friendships were like scouting sort of.
Absolutely.
Like where you think that they'll help you out, but then in actuality they're just like some player
Right.
that has been.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's somewhat kind of part of our human nature, guys. If we feel as if there's something that we can get from someone, then we might do things we might conduct ourselves a little differently around them, making a sort of a certain impression. But when we feel as if there's, we're interacting with somebody that, really can't do a whole lot for us, we don't really give them the time of day. You know what I mean? But as far as reaping what you sow, you reap what you sow. You put in, you get out what you put in. That's another way to put that statement. Okay? So when we talk about reaping what you sow, we're talking about the decisions that you make and the consequences associated with those decisions. Another thing, can the decisions that you make impact you negatively and positively?
Yes.
Okay? Can the decisions that you guys make today, can it affect tomorrow's opportunity?
Yes.
And can it affect you for the rest of your life? Can a decision that you make today affect you for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. These are all questions that may not be addressed or taken into consideration until it's too late. Remember the other day we were talking about when you make a couple of statements like, oh my God, what was I thinking? How did I get myself into that? If you have to, the questions that I just asked you, if you don't really take these questions into consideration right now, the fact that a choice that you make today can affect you for the rest of your life, a choice that you make today can affect what you do tomorrow. If you haven't thought about that until it's too late or after regret sets in, you're going to be in. So, for example, it's internal dialogue. You guys know what internal dialogue is?
Did you tell yourself?
It's just a fancy way of saying you're talking to yourself. Dialogue means that you're having a conversation with yourself. What was I thinking? How did I get myself into this? How in the heck did I, or the two-word statement, oh crap. Okay? Those are thoughts or questions that we ask in our own mind when we regretfully make a choice that affects us negatively. So nobody is exempt. Okay? What's that mean? Nobody is exempt. Nope. Huh?
Nobody's perfect.
No, I wouldn't say perfect. Exempt.
No one's excluded from.
Exactly. Who said that? Ventriloquist. Nobody is exactly. So that relates to the whole consequences and relates to the whole decision making thing. That relates to the whole you reap what you sow thing. Okay? So when we talk about nobody's exempt, regardless of the amount of money that you guys may have or somebody else may have, regardless of their celebrity status, regardless of their fame, everybody has to pay for the decisions or the choices that they make. Fellas, to the tune or to the point of just recently, people know who T.I. is?
Yeah.
Just have to go back to jail again?
Really?
Yes.
That's
Okay.
Drug.
He seems to have quite a bit of money. I'll give you what's the lady's name who did the home TV shows, and she went to jail just about 3 years ago. Martha Stewart. Once again, somebody else with money, and so you can't say, oh, you know, they're picking on, you know, the minority, or she's a Caucasian female. Yes.
But since we're on that subject, it's like they don't pay like as much as we do. For example,
They don't.
like say Kobe Bryant, like, when he was accused for rape,
Uh-huh.
if it was any other person that wasn't famous, they would have probably, you know, went to jail or something.
Your phone's blown up.
Little Wayne just got out there.
Oh,
It's all tatted up.
Yes, you're right. You're right. If that would have been, you know, a common, you know, someone that was not an entertainer or you know, a big name person, then it probably would have been much worse for us as opposed to those folks, as opposed to Kobe Bryant. Absolutely, I agree. But yet and still, yes, treated different, but still have to pay for what's been done. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, they're celebrities, they have money, they have fame, but everybody has to pay for that. Less than a year ago, I'll give you another name, another person, Tiger Woods, okay? He was on top of the world. It'll almost be 1 year, because it happened like the night before Thanksgiving, I think.
Oh, man.
He was on top of the world, and right now he's going through arguably the most difficult time in his life. He just lost his #1 ranking.
Again.
When he initially got in, you know, all that stuff happened. You know, he hadn't played golf in a long time. Had, you know, pretty much tried to go into seclusion, if you will. Didn't want to talk to anybody, do any interviews, all that stuff. And now, he even said, you know, he said it in a first-time public appearance that he made. He said that none of us are exempt from decisions and consequences. So he had to find it out the tough way. Okay? Consequences and choices, they don't discriminate either. They don't discriminate from the standpoint of how smart you are, guys. They don't care if your IQ is off the charts. It doesn't matter how great you are on the soccer field. Are you guys familiar with Newton's law?
What up, must come down?
For every action, there's a.
Positive or negative reaction.
There you go. There you go. So, cause and effect. That's all, guys. It's real simple. That's all choices and consequences are. It's just cause and effect. Okay. For every action, there's a reaction. Consequences are the reaction or the effect as a result of the choices that we make during our existence. Now, all of us, we even all share commonalities, fellas. The commonality that we share is all of us have made choices, and we have all experienced and endured the consequences of those choices. Now, here's the problem. Here's where we start getting into the problematic portion of it. Some of us have been shielded from consequences. That means that they haven't been held accountable for reasons ranging from the abilities that we have, athletes or entertainers, our socioeconomic background, and possibly even certain families have certain status. And so the connections that families may have, where maybe their kids may get in trouble. Who was it recently? Oh gosh, Giuliani, I think is his name. Mayor Giuliani I think his daughter got caught for shoplifting or something like that.
Stupid.
You know, I think, don't quote me on that, but I think she did. But certain people get shielded and they get protected from certain things as a result of where they come from, as a result of the families that they come from. Okay? That's not that, that's that.
That's the document camera.
I don't know how that's doing that.
It's the document camera. It's on the projector.
Oh, that's.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Say what?
How is it coming from back there?
So it's a little.
That document camera.
Actually,
Oh,
this
this?
is a laptop,
Yeah.
right? There we go.
No Spanish.
I know it's kind of quick function here. It'll say that when you're in a laptop, you want to get an external one. So I got your laptop off the document. Alright. So
Spanish
it's control or function. Just to only get it on there. Cycle through, just hit function and then that port. And you should be cycling through them.
Yeah, the station.
Can I be cameraman?
So, here's the result, fellas. Here's the results. Now we're getting into the real serious stuff. So here's what I'm going to ask you guys. I'm going to ask you guys to really, really be attentive, because this will be a total waste of your time if you guys don't get anything from it. These two classes, the time that we're going to spend today and on Tuesday, is going to be the most important section of the stuff that I talk about, because this is the stuff that really has to deal with your decision making, and you guys being able to be the people that you guys potentially can be. Okay, so you guys might want to write some of this stuff down. When people are shielded from the consequences of their choices, it creates a delusion. Okay? I refer to it as, and some people refer to it as a Pollyanna bubble. Okay? A Pollyanna bubble is when a person is unduly optimistic or they achieve happiness through self-delusion. Okay?
So what does that mean?
Here's what that means. If you do not believe that you will pay for the choices that you make, you're living a lie, and you're lying to yourself. Okay? There are people who truly live in a Pollyanna bubble. Okay? And here's how they get there. If anyone has received any sort of attention, or if they had reassured praise because of their behavior, they soon believe that all of their choices are justifiable. Does that make sense? So for example, you know how it's happened. I was a part of it. I'm no different than you guys. From the standpoint of, I have experienced most of the things that you guys have experienced. And because of the things that I experienced and I went through, and being a former athlete, what I wanted to do is I wanted to create this program to help you guys try to avoid some of the stuff that I went through. Does that make sense? Okay? Now here's what I mean. If anybody, you guys remember like when you were in high school long time ago? You guys were in high school a long time ago, right?
Last year.
Like last year. Yeah, dude. I wish, talking about myself a long time ago. So when I was in high school, we always had the class clown. Class clown. People always wanted attention. And then when they got attention,
They know what to do with it.
not only did they not know what to do with it, they would, once they got that attention, they would always try to get it more and more. So they never knew when to be serious and stuff like that. Positive reinforcement, negative reinforcing and negative behavior. That's an example of that. When you achieve, when you receive any sort of attention or reassured praise because of your behavior, even if it's negative behavior, and you get reassured praise for it, what happens is they believe that what they did was justified. Okay? And so that happens also in sports, in the sports world. Once again, going back to Randy Moss. Because of his talent, because of the way that he can get safeties out of the box, and now I'm speaking, maybe speaking a foreign language to you guys, but it's really hard to defend Randy Moss. And because it's so hard to defend Randy Moss, teams don't mind putting up with his negative behavior. Terrell Owens, another example, every team that he's gone to, some people even refer to him now as T.O., the team obliterator, okay? Every team that he goes to, it's just dysfunctional, okay? And he just brings a bad aura to the team, okay? But people are willing to deal with the way that he can break up a team and create separation and segregation amongst the team because they're willing to deal with, they're willing to put up with him because of his talent, because of his skill set. That's what that is. He's disillusioned. He's delusional. Because coaches put up with that mess. Team owners and managers put up with that mess. Do you guys know soccer players that are so good that they were knuckleheads, but coaches still put up with them anyway? Okay, for the rest of the class, no more Spanish, because you said something that...
It's the name.
Oh!
He's like, no, that's his idol.
Oh!
Don't mess with my idol.
Oh, he's always
Don't mess with my
I was like, I was wondering why you got so upset. I'm like, what did he say in Spanish? What did he say?
Well, I'll kill you. Ronaldinho.
So,
Curry.
hey, what's going on? It's okay. So listen, you guys, including, who's the person's name? Say it again.
Blanco.
Say it in English.
Blanco. Podemos Blanco.
Other than him, do you guys know?
That's so late.
Listen. Do you guys know anybody else?
Ronaldinho.
What?
Is he trouble? They allow him, listen fellas, listen. They allow him to get away with things that he shouldn't do. Okay? Because of his talent. They live an unrealistic, unduly optimistic because of their delusions. And these delusions have been brought on because of their negative behavior, man. And but it's justified because of the way that they play. Okay? So,
Wouldn't Allen Iverson be another one?
Allen Iverson is another
That's on
example.
my bridge.
And what? Allen Iverson is probably 35, maybe, something like that. He can't even get a job, man. 37, can't even get a job in the NBA right now. Nobody wants to put up with him.
He's playing for a Turkish team.
Playing over in Turkey. That's ridiculous. Allen Iverson could easily still average 15 points and contribute to some NBA team right now. But because of the way that he conducts himself and because of the way he behaves, he hasn't put himself in a position to have longevity in the NBA. That's what it's about, man. Shaq is an example of somebody who, because everybody loves him, because he hasn't, been a problem, or what have you, or at least not publicly, he can stay on the team. The dude's like almost 40 years old, can barely get up and down the court. He's still playing. It's all about how you guys, the image that you got, that people create. So that's something that you guys want to think about. When we talk about this, what's worse, coaches accept and they even tolerate, well, they really accept it, and they tolerate the behavior of an athlete because their talent outweighs their mishaps. What's worse is individuals are delusional. They never recognize, they never listen to, they never accept, they never receive advice or information from anyone because they sincerely believe that their actions and behaviors are the norm or exclusively unique to them. Okay? In other words, they don't and they refuse to accept responsibility for their behavior. And we're going to talk more about accepting responsibility for your behavior. We're going to talk more about being held accountable. Your teammates can't even really hold them accountable because they won't first take responsibility for their behavior. Let me tell you why their teammates won't even hold them accountable. When Randy Moss had his little lash or his little lash out at that, you know, food, or whenever they were eating on Friday or Saturday, whenever it was, one of his teammates should have went to Randy and said, "Listen, man, unnecessary. Don't need to treat that man that way.
That was uncalled.
Uncalled for. Sit down and enjoy the meal." There might be other people in here that may not like the food and might not think that the food is very good, but you don't see them conducting themselves in this way. Simple accountability.
What do you do?
Just went off on this rant and rampage because he didn't like the food that was being served, and said that the person that was catering the food said I wouldn't feed. He told him he wouldn't feed it to his dog, and was cussing and, you know, going all crazy and all kind of stuff like that. It's inappropriate behavior. Okay. It's a false sense of reality, fellas. Whenever you get reassured praise for your behavior. Okay, if you're aware of the fact that you reap what you sow, and if you still choose to compromise what you know is right, you're living in a Pollyanna bubble. Okay, so here's what that means. You may be unduly optimistic about your lifestyle or about a lifestyle. You may be unduly optimistic about an outcome. Have you ever heard your coaches say, "Get your head in the game"? Get your head out of your ass here? Heard your coaches say that? Okay? Heard your coaches say that? That's exactly what's going on right here. That's exactly what's going on right here if you're living in a Pollyanna bubble. So, here's the challenge right here. The challenge is to change. Now that you guys have, okay, so actually before I talk about that, let's go back. I got a question for you. Before we go forward, let me ask this question. Is there anything that you guys don't agree with that we talked about just now? Anything that you don't agree with? Because remember, for you guys that weren't here, and I apologize for this, because I didn't bring the red cards. If there's ever a time that you guys don't agree with something I say, you can red card me. Okay? This is a soccer class, so I want to, relate it to soccer and all that. So I want you to red card me.
I give you yellow.
This is a foul. Yes. Use for now. Use whatever you have. Yes.
Yellow?
Yes.
You got a yellow too?
Yes. Yes.
Shut up.
So use that if you guys don't agree. So is there anything that I said or anything that you guys see up here that you guys don't agree with? So it's safe to say that everybody agrees, everybody is in agreement with what's up here? Okay. So here's the challenge. So if you guys all agree with this, here's the challenge. Truly having a self-check for growth, that's very challenging, right? How often do you guys really want to take the time to take a look at your own actions, your own behaviors, and see if you're doing what's right?
Nobody ever does.
Nobody ever does?
How do you
I
know?
think people always like tell you like you should, and like at the moment they tell you do, but they're like on your own. I don't think most
It's like
people
at
do.
church. You're at church. You're all like, God, but then once you leave, you're back to the same person you are, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Like when you were,
Absolutely.
yeah.
That's a good
Good
example.
example, huh?
That is. That's a good example. Yes. Yeah, you do have to speak. You can't speak on behalf of everyone, so that's true. But you get a lot of people.
I'm not saying everybody like does it. I'm just saying like
Right.
a lot of people just
Listen
don't.
up, fellas, listen up, fellas.
Like there is few people that actually do look at what they do and what they like if they check themselves pretty much.
Right.
But I mean, I don't know that many people that do it.
Yeah.
I know I don't.
Yeah. So that's the challenge. Knowing that change is necessary is one thing, but actually having to follow through with that knowledge, it takes maturity and it takes courage. Maturity and courage. It's one thing to recognize something, and it's another thing to apply it. It's a big difference. It's, okay, give you an example. I want you guys to relate to everything that I said. You guys take tests, right? For class?
Yeah.
It's one thing to hear something, let's say you're teaching, let's say it's an algebra class, and then it's another thing to be able to take the stuff that you're hearing in algebra class and apply it to a math problem. If you never apply it to the problem, whenever you hear it, do you pass your test whenever you're tested? No. It's no different. This is no different. Okay? So, here you go. Now we're going to get into how you get to that point. How do you get to the point that you create change for yourself? Okay? And I'm going to let you guys talk about this amongst yourselves. What does it take to become a great soccer player?
Routine, practice, and habit.
You guys are such cheaters. You guys are such cheaters. I'm going to fix that so it won't be up there next time.
Hard work.
Okay? No, if you were to create the perfect soccer player, what would the soccer player look like?
Pele.
Okay? What does Pele have?
He's not. Okay.
What is it about Pele that makes him a great soccer player?
I think what makes him the best of all time is like what he did on the field and what he's done off of it for the sport.
But what specifically?
His work ethic.
Pretty much.
His work ethic?
Yeah.
Is
He
it
was
his,
humble.
he was humble?
Very good.
Hard work.
His hard work? Did he have a very good soccer skill set?
Yeah. Amazing.
Highly skilled soccer player?
Yeah.
What else?
Athletic.
Athletic? What else? Mentality? What else?
Just all around good dude.
Speed?
Speed, dribbling, shooting.
Speed, dribbling, shooting. Vision. Anything else?
He was on FIFA, B99. No guy.
Anything else? Am I missing anything? Endurance. Listen up. Listen up, because you might. I don't know
I've
what you
seen
know.
like in videos people would hit him on purpose, like just they wouldn't even go for the ball, but like he wouldn't like act out on people that he knew that were trying to hit him, trying to injure him.
So is it safe to say that he had mental toughness?
Yeah.
Safe to say that his will was higher than other people's will? Okay, his will to win, his will to be great? Where he set the bar maybe might have been higher than where other people set the bar?
Yeah.
Okay? So of all those things, so of all those things that we just described, let's talk about the dribbling, the passing, the shooting, and maybe even the speed. We can't talk about athleticism because that's something, being athletic is something that some people are just born with, but you can improve where you are in terms of your athletic ability scale, if you will. It's saying that on a scale of 1 to 10, talking about myself, if 10 is the highest, I'm probably only about at an 8, maybe even an 8, probably a 7. Okay, so I can only maximize my athletic ability so much if I'm only a 7 on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of my athletic ability. Okay, so you can't really do anything past what you've just been born with and what you've been given, right? But what made him such a great dribbler?
Practice.
Practice. What made him such a good passer? What made him such a great shooter? What made him such a great sprinter? Okay? And so, it's no different. So if we're creating a great soccer player, why is a great decision maker any different? And we're going to get into that here in a little bit. Okay? Because if you can improve some of these skill sets to be a great soccer player with developing a great work ethic, habit equals discipline, you start developing a routine that you do something on a regular basis, and then you don't even have to think about it because it's just a part of what you do. Every day I'm going to get up. You guys have routines right now. Brush your teeth. Every day. Brush your teeth. Every day. Go to the bathroom. Wake up, you go to the bathroom. Shower. That's a routine. You don't even have to think about it. It's a part of who you are. So it becomes a habit. Then it just becomes a part of who you are. It's just discipline. It's just in you. Okay? So, Introspecting, like you said, it takes maturity and it takes even more courage, right? Okay? So check this out, guys. Decision making in athletes. Why is it that athletes constantly work on improving their ability to be prompt decision makers? For football, identifying coverages, how a defender may respond. For soccer, it's the same way. For baseball, a batter only has a split second to identify whether or not a pitch is worth swinging at or taking. It developed that ability to be able to identify the ball when it's coming out of a pitcher's hand and see the rotation on the ball and decide whether or not they should swing. You guys know how much time they have to do that?
Not even a second.
Not even a second. I think it's like 4/10 of a second. It's either 4/10 or 5/10, I can't remember. But I have it in my notes somewhere.
That sucks.
They've developed a skill set to be able to do it though. An athlete's ability to make a split-second decision in their sport is not a skill that athletes were born with. You guys agree with that statement?
Yeah.
Yeah? It's not something that they were born with. So how did they get it?
Train.
They train. Skill set is developed over time through repetitive training and development. Over time, athletes perfect their craft and perfect their ability to be split-second decision makers. As a result of the time athletes have taken to perfecting their craft, they've increased their ability to identify a situation in their sport and make the appropriate choice. Agree or disagree?
Agreed.
Agree. So is it fair to say that decision-making IQ increases in their sport over time? Your decision, and the reason why I asked that question is because can they throw 95 miles an hour? Can they throw a 95 mile an hour fastball at age 10? No. Can they at age 12? Probably not. Maybe at age 15, maybe. Definitely when some of them definitely when they become a senior in high school. You guys heard about, I think he's Cuban, I'm not sure. You guys heard about the guy who caught the highest fastball just this past year? 104, 105 miles an hour, something like that. I think he's a lefty. Yeah, plays for the Reds, right? Okay, so I'll ask the question again. Based on what I just said, at age 10, 12, 15, maybe 18, definitely when they get in their 20s, 95 miles an hour fastball, is it fair to say that your decision-making IQ increases in your sport over time? Yes. It has to increase. The speed at which you have to make that decision has to increase because the ball is being thrown faster and faster and faster the older that you get, right?
Not always. I mean, if you're doing it wrong, like if you're practicing wrong, you're going to be doing that over and over again. You're never really going to improve.
Okay.
Whereas like if you're shooting the ball and you're practicing like kicking it with your toe or something, opposed to kicking it the way that you should be.
But we're talking split-second decision as opposed to the ability to improve your decision-making that quick versus that quick. We're not really talking about the physical skill set to throw a pitch as much as we're talking about the ability to identify a situation. Because, okay, so I'll give you another example. We give you this, okay. Does the game of soccer and speed, the older that you get?
Yeah.
Okay, people get faster, they run faster and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So when you're 10 years old, we'll use the same numbers. When you're 10 years old, is somebody running at you as fast as they are when you're 18 years old? When you're, or let's do the same numbers again. Same speed from 10 to 12, 12 to 15, 15 to 18, 18 to the pros.
No.
People are getting faster and faster and faster during that time span, right? So your ability to choose whether or not you should shoot or pass has to increase, right? That's what I'm talking about. So your decision-making ability has to increase because the game is getting faster. So if you've progressively increased and advanced with the game mentally, then your ability to be a decision maker on the soccer field has increased also, right? It has to. It has to speed up because if it doesn't speed up, you're not going to be able to compete
in the older age bracket, right?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You guys with me?
It's kind of like our first game. Like,
Okay.
as a freshman, it's like the speed of the game was much different than in high school.
Absolutely.
Not really.
Yeah.
Now-
You're a goalie too, well, I'm just saying, as a field player, dude, it's way different.
But they talk about it all the time, fellas. The one thing that they talk about is everybody in the pros everybody's fast in the pros. And you guys, and there are some guys that are just, when sports analysts talk about it, the one thing that they talk about, let's talk about basketball now. John Wall, the new point guard that's playing #1 draft pick for the Washington Wizards, came from Kentucky, was only in college for 1 year. They talk about how fast he is in comparison to all the other guards in the NBA. The way that he advances down the court with the basketball and the way that he separates himself, I still don't believe that anybody is as explosive as LeBron James, though. It looks like somebody shooting a dude off of a trampoline or shooting him out of a cannon whenever he runs down the floor. Just really fast. Okay? The point that I want to make is, as the game goes from amateur to professional, the game speeds up. So even from high school to college, the game gets faster. They talk about it all the time in football. They talk about how fast players are in the SEC and in the Pac-10, from high school to college. They ask them the question, what's the biggest adjustment that you had to make when you went from the college to the pros? Their response, the speed of the game. So now you have to think and you have to process information a lot faster. So if they're able to do that, my question then becomes is, why aren't they able to do that in life? Okay? So, what is it that allows a player's decision-making IQ to be off the charts in one area and completely void in another area? Okay? Is it their desire or lack thereof? Is it their attention to detail, once again, or lack thereof? Is it the value that they place on their performance on the field, but they don't place very much value off the field to their decision making? Do you guys really believe that we have the ability to have off the charts decision making skills while our sports environment, while in our sports environment, but we're incapable of making good decisions when we're away from our sport? And if so, why is that? I want you guys to break up into groups again. And I want you guys to talk about that question right there. You know what this question I'm talking about? Do you guys really believe that we have the ability to have off-the-charts decision-making skills while in our sports environment, but incapable of making good decisions while we're away? And if so, why? Why is that? Why can we be just off-the-chart decision makers, and our decision-making ability can improve as we advance and as our skill set advances in soccer, but we can't do that also when we're away from the game? Not practicing. So I'm gonna let you guys talk about it. So I guess there's 4 here now. Actually, you can go back there since he's is that waiting?
Albert!
Albert! Paulie D.
You guys ready? Break up into groups. And we'll go 5 minutes.
Very rude.
5 minutes. So they need your help. They need your help.
Yeah. Look at this dude.
Yeah, but why do you think that is?
Is it us three?
No, it's just. Yeah, it's you. Why are you going back there? Right there.
I hate you guys. I'm putting my notes on it. I've been typing that thing over the phone.
You think it's because they don't involve
Touch
in
me
sport?
I touched you twice. What you gonna do, man?
Yeah, so you three are here.
I think that it's different. Because like,
These three are here.
for example, look, Maradona, for example.
These three are here.
Maradona's no, I'm saying because like there's more passion.
You can choose if you want that side or that side.
You're speaking.
No, you go over there.
Yeah, you're right.
What do you think?
That's why we're doing this. So we can bring you guys closer together.
Yeah, no, there's way more decisions for like brave things or.
It was actually our country first.
No, it wasn't.
It was ours before it was yours.
We won
No, you didn't. We had rocks and,
We punked you guys.
we had rocks, bro. You guys had cannons and grenades and everything.
Okay, so we punked you guys.
That's what's our country.
They bought it.
Hey,
They bought it. Some people bought it.
Who runs the
They
country?
bought it.
Hey, who runs the country?
Listen.
Certainly ain't true.
Discuss, hey, listen. Hey. Listen, discuss that, not that. That's what you guys should be discussing.
Man, why did you do this, bro? He doesn't know.
All I gotta say is I didn't expect that.
I think it's the same thing.
But it's like, what's the same idea?
I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to no one. You, Gerson, and John.
What?
Whatever you come up with, Josh.
What's up, bro? What?
Why are you even my friend? You don't ever have nothing to offer.
Representative too, don't forget to choose a representative to talk for your group.
Josh,
You're next.
Ronnie,
just spoke.
You guys know this, right?
You're gonna talk one time today and you're gonna talk about it's gotta be an American accent, no Spanish.
You will not.
You can't even open a can of SpaghettiOs how you
How much longer do you guys need?
You can't load a dishwasher how you used to do it.
Who needs more time?
You can't even wash your own clothes.
There's people working out there.
So, representative, we'll start in the back with the representative in the back. On the left, you guys is right, my left.
We said the decisions you make playing soccer, you make them over and over again, and it's a limited scope of decisions you have to make.
Uh-huh.
And in life, there's just such a large variety of decisions.
Mhm.
They change all the time, things change all the time.
Uh-huh.
You can't always be capable of making the right decision with just the sheer variety of decisions you have to make life outside soccer.
Okay, I like that. I dig that. Who came up with that?
Same one.
Carlos.
Juan Carlos.
All right, good job, Mr. Carlos.
We don't need you're a credit student.
Representative. Now, which group did you decide to go with? Over there? All right. So who's representing you guys?
Josh.
Okay.
Just got it.
I pretty much thought the same thing because
Pretty much.
there's just such a wider
Guys,
variety.
please be quiet because someone else is talking.
It's just such a wider variety of what decisions you have to make in the world, like compared to just on the soccer field and like at practice and just overall.
Okay. Representative left to your right in the front.
Go. Go.
What?
What?
Represent.
We didn't come up with anything.
Alright, I'll leave it to Kurt. So,
No, Gerson's in our group.
I think that, yes, it affects, like, I forgot the question. But I think it affects it because you're not applying it to what you're doing on a daily basis. Like, you can take a break off, like, something you're doing, you're gonna eventually, like, forget or not remember or not get better.
Right.
For example, from high school, you go to college, and you go take your placement test.
Right.
You took some classes in high school that would help you on your placement test,
Mhm.
but you were away from it so much that you just eventually forgot it, and your skills didn't improve at all. The same for soccer. If you're going to be away from the sport, you might not, get better than if you want the sport.
Some people are just naturals though.
Representation over here to the right. Guys, no sidebars right after you get finished.
Like, I think you can't really compare. It's like you have like some players have like passion for soccer, so they'll make like the best decision possible. Rather than like some people don't have passion. Like what if they like a different problem in life, like they won't have passion. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
And then like, for example, like, you know the player Diego Maradona?
I don't, but...
Well, he's a famous player. Like, he made the perfect decisions on the field, but off the field, you know, he did drugs, and that's what ruined his career.
Okay.
It's like a perfect example.
Okay. Now...
Where's Diego?
Listen, quiet, listen, no side comments, because we don't have much time. I respect everything that you guys said. I don't agree with everything that you guys said. Let me tell you why I don't agree with what you guys said. You said there are times whenever you're not able to practice. You said that it doesn't really compare because there's so many decisions that you have to make in life, and they're not always consistent and the same. You also said that if you're not practicing it, then you lose it and different things like that. You guys actually practice making decisions every single day. However, what you don't practice is thinking about how the decision that you may have to make affects everything going on around you, and affects the other people that you interact with and the other people that you associate with. You don't think about how it's going to affect you down the line as well. Because a lot of times what happens, now I'm going to speak for myself, I'm not going to speak with you guys. I get so consumed with taking care and meeting my own needs as opposed to taking into consideration how other people are going to be affected by it. We live in a society where we oftentimes think about ourselves first and then think about everybody else second, right? We've been I don't want to say programmed, but we've been conditioned. We've been conditioned to that sort of thought process, okay? And so, although yes, there are a lot of different decisions that we have to make, and no, it's not consistent like it is in soccer. I totally agree with that. The reality is, we have tough decisions that we have to make every single day. Every day we have to make a tough decision. Let me give you guys some examples. Every time that who drives in here? But because you practice driving so much and you've driven so much, you don't even think it is tough. The first time you got in the car, how nervous were you?
Pretty nervous.
Pretty darn nervous, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. But you've done it so much, it's not even a big deal anymore. But the same thing, the same concern that you had the first time that you got in the car, has that changed? Has those concerns changed? Okay? What were some of your concerns the first time you got to a car?
Not able to turn.
Crash my friend's car. We're going too fast.
The first time I got in the car, I was like, am I gonna be able to make that turn? I don't know.
Okay? So, some of the other things, maybe getting into an accident with another person, was that a concern?
Yeah, no, it was more like crashing my friend's car, like, because it wasn't mine.
Okay?
So it wasn't like anybody else, but it was like,
outside of crashing your friend's car, if it was your own car, the first time that you got into a car and drove, any concerns? No?
No, besides like crashing.
Okay, so that's the point that I really want to make is your concerns haven't changed, because the fact that you can crash, that still exists, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so fellas, don't make me have to manage you guys for riding on your cars. I don't want to have to manage you guys. I want you guys to be men, and I want you guys. This is all part of this decision-making thing. You're playing right now, okay? And we're really trying to get something done. Okay, I want to respect you as men. I don't want to have to babysit you. The same concerns are there from the standpoint of crashing. Okay, but because you practice it so much, there's less of a concern. you don't have to be concerned about it as much. Okay? It's no different, guys. It's still there. It's still there. Okay? But what makes you guys really good decision makers is the constant repetition and thinking about the consequences of your actions and your behaviors. That's what makes you guys good decision makers. So when we talk about creating the ideal decision maker, so what is we're talking about things that are necessary. The identity that the person needs to have. A strong self-confidence. Regardless of what's going on around you, you will always do what you know is right. Do you guys do that every single time?
No.
No? No matter who's around you, no matter what's going on, regardless of the fact that everybody else is doing it, do you guys always do what you know is right?
No.
Is that one reason just to be in here?
Yeah.
Okay? Strong self-identity. Do you guys ever compromise what you know is right or compromise your future? Or where you want to be because everybody else is doing it? Meaning that a strong self-identity is you saying, accept me for who I am, accept me for what I want to accomplish, and accept me for where I want to go. Are you guys secure enough with yourself to say that to somebody who's trying to get you to do something that you know you shouldn't do? Who's trying to get you to behave in a manner that you know you shouldn't behave?
Yeah.
Can you guys are you guys comfortable enough to say, I'm not going to do that?
I am.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Okay. What about your self-belief? What belief will you stand on, and what values will you establish? And will there be any conviction behind the stance and behind your values? You guys gotta talk whenever you guys are put in a situation. You gotta do it with conviction. It can't be like that timid. I don't know. I don't know if that's such a good idea. Well, what do you mean you don't know if it's such a good idea? Either you know or you don't know. And you guys gotta say it with conviction. No, I'm not doing that. You wanna go get high? I'm not doing that. I have something in mind. I have something that I want to accomplish. When's the last time, from what I understand, I don't know, I could be wrong. You guys might have to help me with this one. No, I'm being serious. Last I checked, did drinking alcohol during the season help improve your performance?
No.
Did getting high during the season help improve your performance?
No.
Okay. So, if the majority agrees that either of those things don't help improve your performance, why would you even compromise that? Why would you even put yourself in a situation where you would do something like that and decrease your performance, decrease your opportunity and the chances that you may have to get a full-ride scholarship somewhere? Why would you do it? Why would you run the risk? Now think about this. If you know anybody that is doing that during the season, just think how much better they might be able to actually play and perform if they didn't do it during the season. Just think about that. This is something to think about. I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, just red card, yellow card me. Let me know.
Oh no, that's a ball.
Let me know. I'm open.
I think it's a yellow card because
I'm totally open to it. I'm totally open to it.
I think
It's true.
Okay. Okay.
Like, look at Michael Phelps. He smokes weed and he won 8 gold medals.
Do you know that he smoked during when he was training?
Oh yeah, dude. Oh,
Yeah,
Joe Rogan, dude. He was
Now my question after that is, how much better do you think he'd be able to perform if he didn't do it?
Yeah,
but
but I mean, it's like he's doing it consistently. Like he tells us, like,
Let me ask this question.
I know what you're saying.
How much better do you
I know.
think that he would be
But
able
it's
to
like-
perform if he didn't?
When you talk about like getting high, if you look at the research based on like marijuana, it has no sense of effect on your body, like negatively.
Not even your lungs?
No, it doesn't. It's been proven that it doesn't affect your lungs, not even smoking it.
Your brain cells.
No, it doesn't. That's complete bullshit. But your whole brain cells, you produce 1 million, you produce 1 million blood cells a second.
You produce what?
1 million blood cells a second. And then the amount that they were telling you is that you lose like about 200 million or whatever by smoking it. Well, guess what? You just get it back in 200 seconds.
So you're getting your brain cells back?
Yeah, you have
So that, but now listen to what you just said.
You can't.
Listen, no, time out. Listen to what you just said. Do the numbers again.
Yeah, 200,000, but like your body constantly has to throw some out and then it
regenerates them, right? But just think how, much healthier your body would be able to produce those red blood cells.
Yeah, no,
It does, but not.
well, it does. Like when you're inebriated, it does. Like
Not
it's the same thing with
even
like
afterwards.
drinking alcohol.
Huh?
Like while you're drunk, it's gonna have some sort of effect on you. But it's like if you drop it like a week later, that whole experience of you getting drunk like a week before didn't help unless you're like doing it like consistently. But like with marijuana and alcohol, that's two different things. If you think that it's like the same concept, you're dead wrong.
I would be willing to research it.
I would
Totally.
research with you.
I absolutely would be.
Are you just talking about that type of drug, just marijuana?
No,
Anything that doesn't allow you to perform at an elite or maximize your performance.
Okay, so why do they like cut down on steroids if it increases your performance?
Because